Super Bowl 59. We've made a habit of this. Solomon Wilcots, we had you on our show earlier this year when the Chiefs played the Bengals, but here we are, Chiefs and Eagles now. What's the feeling around New Orleans like? Another year, another Super Bowl, man. Here we are. It's great to be here.
Yeah, it is great to be here. Obviously, Kansas City's here every year. Do you guys get tired of this, by the way? Because
it gets expensive.
It does get expensive. You gotta have a budget set up for this, right? Every single year. No, look, I think anytime you have Patrick Mahomes, you have Andy Reid, and you have a Chiefs team, you know that they're going to come ready to play. It's going to be a very well-prepared team. And then we got history that's on the line here in Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. First team in NFL history potentially to win 3 straight Super Bowls. You and I know that is the epitome of a dynasty. And then you look at the Eagles, just how well they're constructed. And then as people were predicting the sort of demise of the running back, here comes Saquon Barkley, having one of the greatest seasons ever for an NFL running back and dispelling the myth, right? The demise of the running back was greatly exaggerated.
Absolutely, and you're here with the doctor. Tell us kind of what you're doing here at the Super Bowl, making the rounds.
Yeah, I'm here with Dr. Mead, and of course, he's an orthopedic surgeon, and we're really talking about new innovative treatments to restore cartilage damage in the knee. Now, I can be the expert when it comes to football analysis, but here's the doctor to tell you more about Macy Arthro. Doc?
Yeah, so basically what we're here today to talk about is cartilage defects in the knee. So when you get it like a pothole defect and sort of that smooth lining in the knee joint, a lot of times it causes pain, swelling, and it oftentimes happens in young, really active patients. And so Macy was originally created as a procedure 2-step to first take a biopsy from your cartilage, grow it in a lab, and come back and replant that in the knee. And it does great, but it requires an incision about 7 to 8 inches long on the side of the knee. Well, now with Macy Arthro, we could do it through the size of a buttonhole, and so it's been pretty remarkable so far.
Well, Dr. Mead, one thing that, we come at it from a football perspective, and you think about knee injuries being so prevalent. I know a lot of professional wrestlers that wind up with bone on bone, no cartilage at all. How damaging is that to as you get older and Terry Funk was a guy that had that. He just passed away about a year ago. Shawn Michaels was told, you'll never wrestle again. You have no ACL. In professional wrestling, we don't give enough credit as to all the kind of bumps those guys take. So when you hear something like that, no cartilage, bone on bone, what goes off in your mind there?
I mean, I've been a professional wrestling fan since I was a tiny kid. I thought the Ultimate Warrior was the greatest wrestler of all time. And those guys, say what you will, but they do go through some significant athletic difficulties. And so what this does is the idea of the Macy procedure is to catch it early, right? So before that pothole becomes what I consider, and I love this place, I lived here for 15 years, but before a pothole becomes a New Orleans street, right? We don't want that pothole to become cracks through all the asphalt and multiple other potholes. And so if we catch it early, we can kind of reverse that process.
Perfect. And Solomon, just can you talk a little bit about more kind of what he's talking about with the injuries in the knees and the cartilage, just how this can help players and with this new just buttonhole procedure, not having to make that big incision?
Yeah, I know a lot of former players, a lot of weekend warriors, people who ski, people who play pickleball or pickup basketball. This could benefit you. It'll keep you from deteriorating to the point where you're bone on bone or potentially maybe having to have total joint replacement surgery one day. It's a really wonderful science, but catch it early. If you start to experience some knee pain, you're starting to feel some arthritis, I think you ought to go to the website, macy.com, MACI.com, to find out more about this procedure, right? And really find a doctor in your area, someone that you can talk to see if Macy is right for you. But for all those athletes and weekend warriors, this is really about preventing you from deteriorating to the point where you're at that point of no return. So this is a science or a medicine that can help you regenerate your own tissue using your own cells. So it's just phenomenal medical science.
Well, you'd be shocked, Solomon, to find out that I was such a good athlete that my ACLs are both firmly intact still. Not a lot of wear and tear on these.
That's good.
That's how good I was. But talking about this game here, Solomon, bringing it back to Super Bowl 59, it seems like I said, it's deja vu. Every year we wind up saying, well, the the San Francisco 49ers have the best roster in football in 2019. The Eagles, maybe 2 years ago when the Chiefs won again, and then last year the Niners. Well, that defense, that roster, Christian McCaffrey, and now here we are, kind of the same thing for the Eagles. So is this another case of this team has a great roster, constructed perfectly, yet the Chiefs, Mahomes, Kelsey, and Reed, that's just kind of what they do?
I think that's a really good question, because yesterday we talked to Brett Veach, general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs. We talked about some of the drafts. Think about 2021. They restore a whole offensive line, overhaul the offensive line in a way like you've never seen before. And now you end up with a Creed Humphrey. You end up with a guard and a center that's still playing, right? And then they did it in the secondary in 2022, right? Just totally overhaul the secondary. No matter if it's a 7th-round pick, no matter if it's a 1st-round pick. You got guys who are still playing. So that's why I think people sort of overlook the roster. But at the end because how can you just go out and get these players in any round of the draft over a 2-year period and have them all be starters on a team that could potentially win 3 straight Super Bowls? Like, think about that. That's great.
Dr. Mead, who did you grow up rooting for? Do you have a favorite team out there? And then who are you picking in the Super Bowl?
I was born and raised in Louisiana, so always been an LSU Tiger fan my whole life. But professionally, it was either, unfortunately, in Shreveport, it was either the Saints or the Cowboys, and then baseball was always the Cubs. So I think ultimately I try to fight against it, but I think the smarter thing is just to pick the Chiefs and be done with it.
Can't blame you there.
You guys, before we let you go here, thank you guys so much for joining us and talking about this. And it's so important to bring awareness to these things. And I know you didn't bring us any composure this year, Solomon. I still have a couple left from last year to get me through one more Super Bowl. But we got to get you both your guys' Super Bowl predictions, and we'll be able to cut you loose here. We appreciate it.
Well, I already said, look, I think the Eagles are going to give them a good fight, but I'm not going up against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I'm going with the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
You have a score?
35-21.
Hey, 11.
Wow,
Yeah,
the composure
blowout.
then. Chris Sims has a 38-28 Eagles, as if Patrick Mahomes loses games by double digits all of a sudden. When did that start?
Not happening.
Thank you guys so much.